Hello everyone and welcome back to Jimmy Talks Jira. This week I'm doing something different yet again, but in the same theme of the past few videos. The fine folks at Amoeboids reached out to me and asked if I would be willing to review their app, Automated Release Notes for Jira. I have no problems in doing app reviews. I just had one condition, and that is that I will be driving the narrative of this, so this is not a paid promotion for an app, but this will be my unfiltered thoughts and reviews of what I think of the app itself. Without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Marketplace listing, and we're going to take a look at that first before we move into the actual app itself. Now, I found out that there is a free version as well as a paid version. I can't assign a proper ranking to a free Marketplace app. I feel as though those are, you get what you get. It's someone offering something free, and there's no way to really objectively say that it's good or bad because of that. The only thing I want to point out that they have done well here is they have very clearly marked the difference between the free and the paid, which is very, very important. Looking at the fact that there is a limit of 5 automated executions per month is very important information to know going into this. So let's go and look at their actual Marketplace listing for the paid version. As I pointed out in the last video, let's just see if it checks a number of those boxes. So as you can see, this is a supported app. That's a thumbs up. You can see that the rating is quite well received. There are also a number of reviews here, so that is a positive experience. They definitely have a video explaining what this is. We're not going to watch that. If you want to go and watch it on your own, absolutely check out the market page for this, but I can tell you after watching it myself, it definitely does a good job of explaining what the app does. That's a thumbs up. We have some really good detailed explanation here. Thumbs up. It is cloud fortified, and if you remember, that was sort of the highest level you could get to on that certification, so that is absolutely a thumbs up. And we can see that they have filled in both the fact that they are participating in the bug bounty program and the security self-assessment. Those are also thumbs up. Looking at the partner privacy policy, if you will remember, this was actually one of the ones I used as an example of a good privacy policy where they have a very detailed explanation of everything. They get a thumbs up on this for me. So if we look at the entire Marketplace listing as a whole for this app, I would give it an A+ ranking. It definitely does a good job of giving you the information you need to look at things. They definitely have their bases covered as far as being able to support the app and proving that they are doing the best they can to ensure your privacy and your security on it. So let's now dive over into the app itself. Okay, so I have already gone ahead and installed the app, and just to level, I have already gone and done a review of this, so I have some things set up to highlight some of the things I want to share with you. So starting from the Manage App page, I have the app installed. I want to walk through the how I did things in the first place. So I went to the Apps menu at the top, and I clicked on Automated Release Notes, which took me to the app itself, and I got a calendar here, which, you know, that is a good start. I was able to add my project here. Great start. And just to prove that the calendar does work, because that is a project I was working on last year, you can see that there is actually calendar data shown, which is fantastic. Moving over to the help, when I first started, these two integration statuses were not connected, and I was given some help documentation that led me over to this here as far as setting up those integrations, which is great that it led me to the documentation. So what I found out there is we need to actually go back to the Manage Apps page because there's actually some configuration that needs to be done there. So going to the configuration for Automated Release Notes, we can see that integrations is one of those things, and, you know, Confluence and JSD are the two things that are listed here. The one thing I would like to point out, would be nice if it said JSM, since that's what it has been for about a year now. And Entering in the Confluence information was easy. The fact that I need an API token, not a problem. I know how to generate those. And they've done a very good job of linking to the documentation of how to do that if you don't know how to do that. A+. Where I have a bit of problems is it lists a password here. And I tried entering my password and it just did not work. Now, when you come down to this documentation here, you will see cloud version only. Atlassian has recently updated its cloud applications to only allow API tokens, and that you can use that API token as the password there. That's great, except that this documentation was updated in 2020, and it's now 2022. It would have been very nice if this actually said API token now, just for making it easy to not have to, go rummaging through the documentation in order to get that configuration set up. That all aside, I have everything configured now, and that is no longer a concern I have to worry about. So let's move into the next things, because as you can see, I am connected now. So where I went next was into templates, because from their intro video, I am going to need a template before I can do anything as far as automating release notes. Now, when I started, there were no templates here at all. And in fact, actually, let me go back to where I was, because this is actually an important point. So on this page here with these templates, you will see I only have 2 templates. So I'm like, okay, well, that's what I've done. I created the template. It was easy enough to come in here. Level says cross project, and I can't change that, which was fine. Adding branding is okay. All of this stuff is stuff that came in by default except for my picture, which I added in. And I saved it, which, that's perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. Returning to the templates, easy enough, that's good. And I made one for JSM as well. I then went over to rules. And again, no rules were set up or configured here, so I went to create a rule. And if we look at the rule I created, the details, I added a name. Manual trigger was all that I could select, and running as me was the only option that I can't change. That's fine. So I created an action, a Confluence action, where we will take my Confluence template. We will use my Confluence integration instance. I was able to choose the space with this space selector, which is perfect that it actually showed that, and it brought in my space key. And I'm going to create a page, and then I have set the action to create a page or update if it exists already. And then, we have a label being added here, as well as a parent page ID. Again, a selector to allow me to choose. All awesome so far. So we will run this, and it's going to ask me to select my project, which is fine. And I am just going to select the released ones for there. And then I'm going to select the same thing, and I'm going to use the unreleased ones. And I'm going to run that. It says it was successful. That's great. If we look at the logs, you can see that I totally have a couple of runs here of me executing that, which is perfect. And if I come over to my Confluence instance, we can see within a couple of minutes, because it does take a bit of time for it to show up. There we are. We have those release notes published. Excellent. Now, I'm thinking to myself, though, that's fine and dandy, but this seems rather limited to me. Because, the rule I could only select was manual, and, that's great that I can set up a bunch of different things, but a manual trigger kind of sucks. That is when I realized that what you actually want to be doing is you're going to select your project. And then there is now an automated release notes within your project. And when you go to that, now you get a bunch of things that are already pre-populated as far as rules and a bunch of pre-populated templates. And this is a much better starting point. So I guess where I'm going with this is I would like to make that warning to people that the global level allows you to do some things at the global level with manual triggers only. You'll want to make sure that you do come into the project itself in order to see some of the actual project-specific templates. And as you can see, it's set up in a very similar manner to what was there for the global level. They've just already pre-populated some things. If we look at what we can do as far as creating rules now, from a actual project, we get some much better options, such as when a version's created, when a version is released, scheduling before end days of a release, schedule at an interval, which basically means you select how often that happens, such as possibly just a weekly notice of what's gone out, or a webhook. And I will say that this now feels much more in line with being able to have some flexibility to do some things. Where do I land on this as an overall? I think, just from what I have seen with this, overall I would give this a grade of an A-. And I give it an A- just because there were a few things from the UI that don't make it obvious up front that I am in a global context versus a project context. Some of the configuration settings were clunky until I got into the documentation, and I prefer seeing UI set up where it self-documents as opposed to making me have to go and look at the documentation to understand that, I need an API key versus a password. As far as the actual functionality of the app, this is fantastic. I can absolutely see how your release managers, in coordination with your documentation team, will set up some really cool templates and then have things set up so that they are scheduled to go out either ahead of the release or as the release is happening. And the fact that you can select multiple different actions that you want it to do. Publishing to Confluence allows you to publish into either an internal docs for your support team, external for your customers. Posting into JSM as an announcement can also notify your customers of these releases. Doing an email action, you can broadcast that out to the entire company, and then you can do all of that within a single action. That is fantastic. The cautionary note I would make on the free version, as always, it is an as-is, but being limited to 5 executions per month means, while testing this, you'll probably want to get the free trial of the paid version so that you can run multiple executions and fine-tune things to what you want, then possibly use the paid version to only execute 5 times in a month. That feels very limited to me, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but I feel like you would be stretched to make that work within your process. Just go for the paid app if you feel that there's value in it, because let's be honest, we might as well support people that are doing good work out there. On that note, looking at pricing, I would not say that this is an absorbent price to pay for it. Looking at the size of company that I'm at, it was about 10 cents per user per month, which is not an unheard of amount to have to spend. So yeah, overall, I think this is a good app. It just has a few minor UI things that could be better. I hope that this is something that you might consider looking at if automating your release note process is something that you're interested in. I hope you found this insightful and that you learned something from it. If you are a marketplace vendor and you would like me to review your app, please reach out to me either on Twitter, by email, in the comments of this video. I am more than happy to do other reviews in the future. Please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. That information is just validation that you enjoy the work I'm doing and you want to see me do more of it in the future. And as always, thanks for stopping by.